Let us look at the calendar. It is early January. The collective hallucination is currently operating at peak efficiency. If we could visualize the psychic energy of the first world right now, it would look like a massive, frantic power surge. A spike of desperate optimism that is destined to short-circuit the grid. You are not tired because you stayed up until midnight. You are not tired because of the champagne or the social battery drain. You are tired because the adrenaline of hope has finally metabolized, leaving you with the crushing, sober realization that nothing has actually changed. We need to look at the data. The search trends do not lie. They are the only honest confession booth left in the 21st century. 5 million of you are frantically typing New Year's Day into the void. You are searching for best productivity apps 2026. You are searching for how to reset my sleep schedule. You are searching for gym memberships near me with the frantic energy of a drowning person looking for a life raft. You are searching for a version of yourself that does not exist. You feel a very specific type of anxiety right now. It isn't the sharp panic of a deadline. It is the dull, heavy dread of continuity. You woke up this morning, looked in the mirror, and realized that the you who promised to change everything at midnight is stuck in the same biological vessel, with the same neurochemistry, the same traumas, the same bank account, and the same procrastination habits as the you from 11:59 p.m. on December 31st. We need to talk about why you do this. Why do you participate in this annual ritual of self-gaslighting? Why do you treat the Gregorian calendar like a moral laundromat? You believe that because the Earth has completed one arbitrary revolution around the sun, you are entitled to a blank slate. You believe in the fresh start. But here is the diagnosis. Your obsession with the fresh start is not ambition. It is a pathology. It is a sophisticated form of procrastination disguised as self-improvement. It is a delay tactic. You are addicted to the feeling of beginning because the act of sustaining is too boring for your dopamine-fried brain to handle. Today, we are going to dissect the fresh start pathogen. We are going to look at the psychological machinery that convinces you that new year, new me is a valid strategy, rather than a marketing slogan designed to sell you supplements you will never swallow and planners you will never open. We are going to dismantle the physics of your resolutions. We are going to strip away the toxic positivity and look at the cold, hard mechanics of why you fail. And we are going to do it without pity. Because if you want to actually change, if you want to alter the trajectory of your existence in a chaotic, indifferent universe, you don't need a new year. You need a new operating system. Let's begin. Point 1. The temporal landmark. The myth is simple, seductive, and almost religious in its power. You believe that time is segmented. You believe that last year was a closed container, a trash bin where you can dump all your failures, your toxic situationships, your Uber Eats receipts, and your mediocrity. You believe this year is a pristine, sterile laboratory where no mistakes have been made yet. You think the calendar protects you. You think January 1st is a firewall that the viruses of your past cannot cross. Psychologically, this is known as the fresh start effect. Researchers at the Wharton School have documented this phenomenon extensively. Humans rely on temporal landmarks, dates that stand out from the mundane stream of daily life to segregate their identities. We mentally divide our lives into epochs. There is the college me, the pre-breakup me, and the 2026 me. This cognitive separation allows you to distance your current self from your past imperfections. It's a mechanism of ego preservation. If you can convince yourself that the person who doom-scrolled for 4 hours a night last month was old me, then new me doesn't have to feel the shame. New me is clean. New me drinks 3 liters of water and understands the stock market. But here is the neurological reality. The brain does not reset. Your neural pathways, the physical superhighways in your skull that dictate your habits, your cravings, and your emotional reactions, do not care about the calendar. Myelination doesn't check the date. The synaptic grooves you carved over the last 365 days are deep, and they are waiting for you. When you rely on a temporal landmark to initiate behavior change, you are relying on an external interruption to drive internal restructuring. It is a category error. You are trying to use a map to fix the engine. You are waiting for the feeling of a new year to do the heavy lifting of discipline. But the feeling is a vapor. It evaporates the moment your alarm goes off at 6:00 a.m. on a cold Tuesday. Look at your digital environment. It feeds this delusion. Spotify Wrapped gives you a packaged summary of your era, effectively telling you that is who you were. Instagram archives allow you to hide the photos that no longer fit your current aesthetic. We are trained by our user interfaces to believe that we can click refresh on our personalities. You see this in the frantic reset routines on TikTok. The Sunday reset, the monthly reset, the yearly reset. It's aesthetic scrubbing. You clean your room, you buy new beige organization bins, you delete old contacts, you exfoliate your skin. You are performing the rituals of change without the substance of change. You are treating your life like a browser tab that has frozen. You think if you just hit F5 hard enough, the glitch will go away. But entropy does not respect your aesthetic. The chaos of your life is not a file you can delete. It is the texture of your reality. You must understand that continuity is the law of the universe. There is no old you. There is no new you. There is only continuing you. The person you are today is the direct mathematical result of the compounding interest of every decision you made last year. Stop trying to amputate your past. When you try to sever the connection to old me, you sever the connection to the data you need to analyze why you failed. You don't need a fresh start. You need a crime scene investigation. You need to look at the wreckage of last year, walk through the debris and say, I built this. This is my architecture. Own the continuity. The calendar is a lie. Tuesday is as good a day to die or to be born as January 1st. Point 2. The dopamine of declaration. The myth is that announcing your intentions is the first step to achieving them. You post the status update, 2026 is my year. You tell your friends over brunch that you're going to run a marathon. You upload the picture of the stack of books you intend to read. You believe that by speaking the goal into existence, you are manifesting it. You think accountability requires an audience. You think the announcement creates a binding contract. Let's look at symbolic self-completion theory. This psychological framework suggests that when people feel incomplete regarding a certain self-definition, e.g., I am a writer, I am an entrepreneur, they seek out symbols to substitute for the lack of actual achievement. Here is the glitch in the human brain. When you announce a goal, your brain releases a premature spike of dopamine. It rewards you as if you have already accomplished the task. When you tell everyone you are going to write a novel and they all say, wow, that's so cool, you're so creative, your brain registers that social validation as the completion of the objective. You have successfully signaled the identity. Because you have already received the reward, the social validation, and the identity confirmation, your motivation to actually do the grueling, lonely, unglamorous work of sitting in a chair and typing 80,000 words evaporates. You tricked your reward system. You ate the dessert before you cooked the dinner. You cashed the check before you did the job. Social media has weaponized this. The announcement culture is rampant. We celebrate the starting more than the finishing. I have some exciting news. Project loading, soft launch. We live in an economy of signaling. You can buy the founder t-shirt before you register the LLC. You can buy the yogi aesthetic, the Lululemon, the mat, the green juice before you can touch your toes. You are curating the costume of the person you want to be. This is why you see so many gym fit check videos and so few videos of people actually sweating in ugly stained t-shirts. The fit check provides the identity signal. The workout is just the tax you pay to post the video. The signal has decoupled from the substance. You are building a facade of high-performance living while rotting on the inside. You are creating a trailer for a movie that you never intend to film. Shut up. Silence is the only container that can hold the pressure required for real transformation. Every time you open your mouth to brag about what you will do, you are opening a valve and letting the steam escape. The steam is what drives the engine. If you are serious about a resolution, you should feel a protective paranoia about it. You shouldn't want to tell anyone. You should want to hoard the energy, keep the goal secret, let the tension build, let the lack of validation starve you into action, make the work the only place you can get your fix. If nobody knows you're training for a marathon, the only way you can feel like a runner is to actually run. Be a ghost. Let the results make the noise. Point 3. Action paralysis via optimization. The myth is that you cannot start until you are ready. You believe that preparation is a prerequisite for execution. You think that before you can get in shape, you need the perfect workout plan, the right protein powder, the newest noise-canceling headphones, and the matching set. You believe that before you can start your business, you need the perfect logo, the perfect Notion template, the perfect desk setup, and the perfect lighting. You mistake getting ready for doing. This is the paradox of choice combined with preparation procrastination. In a hyper-consumerist society, every problem is presented as a purchasing deficiency. You are fat, buy this supplement. You are disorganized, buy this app. You are unhappy, buy this therapy journal. We have convinced ourselves that the friction we feel when trying to work is caused by a lack of tools. So we enter the phase of optimization. We spend weeks researching the best coding language to learn, comparing the features of productivity software, watching YouTube videos on how to organize your life. This feels like work, it feels responsible. It feels like you are being strategic, but biologically it is a comfort mechanism. As long as you are researching, you are safe from failure. You cannot fail at buying a planner. You can only fail at filling the planner, so you prolong the buying phase to delay the exposure to incompetence. You are addicted to the potential of what you could do because the potential is flawless. The actual work is messy, difficult, and initially low quality. The pornography of potential is the seductive fantasy of the perfect workflow that never encounters the friction of reality. It is mental masturbation. Look at the desk setup wars on Instagram and Pinterest. The immaculate, cable-managed, RGB-lit sanctuaries. We have fetishized the environment of work to the point where the environment is more important than the output. You have spent more time customizing your Obsidian graph view or your Notion dashboard than you have spent actually thinking critical thoughts. You are a digital hoarder. You collect PDFs you don't read, save, watch later videos you never watch, and bookmark tutorials you never follow. This is collector's fallacy. You think that because you have the information, you have learned the information. You are drowning in tools, yet you are dehydrated of action. You are the best-equipped soldier who never leaves the barracks. You are an architect who draws beautiful blueprints but never pours the concrete. Start with the wrong tool. Start with the broken tool. Start with no tool. If you want to write, write on a napkin. If you want to exercise, do push-ups on your dirty bedroom floor in your pajamas. If you cannot do the work in the worst possible conditions, the perfect conditions will not save you. Optimization is a privilege you earn after you have established the habit, not a prerequisite to starting it. Strip it down, be primitive. The more friction you try to remove before you start, the weaker you become. Embrace the friction. The friction is the texture of reality. Point 4. The resolution as a secular prayer. The myth is that a resolution is a contract with the universe. You believe that by setting the intention, you are somehow shifting the probability of success. There is a magical thinking component here. This year will be better, you say, as if the year is a sentient entity that cares about your well-being. 2025 was out to get me, but 2026 is going to be kind. This is an issue of locus of control. People with an external locus of control believe that their lives are primarily influenced by outside forces, fate, luck, the economy, the vibe of the year. People with an internal locus of control believe they are the primary architects of their outcomes. When you treat a New Year's resolution like a wish, you are operating from an external locus of control. You are waiting for the spirit of the year to possess you. You are waiting for motivation to strike you like lightning. You are waiting for a divine intervention of willpower. But the universe is indifferent. Thermodynamics does not care about your weight loss goal. The economy does not care about your startup idea. The year is just a measurement of planetary orbit. It has no personality. It has no benevolence. It has no vengeance. It is empty space and time. By framing your goals as resolutions tied to a date, you are subconsciously outsourcing the responsibility of the heavy lifting to the date itself. You are acting like a passenger in your own life, hoping the driver 2026 takes you somewhere nice. We see this in the rise of manifestation culture and the watered-down spirituality of TikTok. Lucky girl syndrome, claiming this energy. I don't chase, I attract. It is a regression to infantile magical thinking. It is the belief that if you just vibrate at the right frequency, the algorithm of the universe will serve you success on a silver platter. It is lazy narcissism. It assumes that you are the protagonist of reality and that the world is just waiting for your permission to give you what you want. It completely bypasses the causal relationship between suffering and result. It wants the prize without the price. It wants the harvest without the planting. Stop resolving. Start engineering. A resolution is a statement of desire. An engineering problem is a statement of constraints and mechanics. Do not say, I want to get fit. That is a prayer. Say, I will lift heavy objects against gravity for 45 minutes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:00 p.m. regardless of how I feel. That is a protocol. You must accept that you are the only variable in the equation that matters. The year is a constant. The circumstances are variables you cannot control. You are the operator. Stop looking at the sky for permission. Look at your hands. You are the god of your own small, messy universe. Act like it. Point 5. Hyperbolic discounting and the January 12th crash. The myth is that future you is a superhero. When you are sitting on your couch on December 31st, drinking champagne, you imagine the you of January. That version of you has infinite willpower. That version of you loves salad. That version of you never hits the snooze button. You make promises that future you has to keep, assuming that future you will have different desires than present you. This is hyperbolic discounting and time inconsistency. Humans are wired to value immediate rewards much more highly than future rewards. The discrepancy is massive. This is an evolutionary glitch. Our ancestors didn't need to plan for retirement, they needed to eat the berry now before the bear ate them. Present you wants the dopamine of the TikTok scroll, the sugar of the donut, the comfort of the bed. Future you wants the six-pack, the degree, the savings account. On New Year's Eve, the cost of the resolution is zero. You don't have to run now, you have to run tomorrow, so you promise the moon. But when tomorrow wakes up, it isn't the future anymore, it is the present. And present you is back in charge, and present you still hates running. Present you is cold. Present you is tired. This is why Quitter's Day statistically falls around January 12th. That is the point where the novelty of the new year wears off and the biological reality of hyperbolic discounting kicks in. The dopamine of the fresh start is gone, and all that is left is the friction of the behavior. This is the hot-cold empathy gap. In a cold state planning, you cannot empathize with your hot state temptation. We are the most short-term gratification society in history. We have same-day delivery, instant streaming, on-demand dating. Our tolerance for delay is zero. We have atrophied our ability to wait. We have trained our brains to expect a 1:1 ratio of input to output. I click, I get, I swipe, I match, but meaningful change has a massive delay. You go to the gym for a week and you look exactly the same. You write for a month and nobody reads it. This valley of disappointment destroys you because you are addicted to the feedback loop. When the loop doesn't close immediately, you interpret it as failure. You think, it's not working, so you quit. But it is working, it's just compounding underground where you can't see it yet. You must anticipate the crash. You must predict with 100% accuracy that on January 12th you will want to quit. You must have a plan for that specific moment. Do not rely on willpower. Willpower is a battery and it drains. Rely on systems that function when your battery is dead. Pre-commit, lock yourself in, burn the bridges, make the cost of not doing the thing higher than the cost of doing it. Stop trusting future you. Future you is a flake. Future you is a traitor. Design your life so that present you has no choice but to comply. Bind yourself to the mast. Point 6. Identity foreclosure and the new me trap. The myth is that you can kill the old me. You view your past self as an enemy to be vanquished. You look at your photos from last year with disgust. You speak about your past behaviors with contempt. You think that shame is a good fuel source. You think that by hating who you were, you can scare yourself into becoming who you want to be. This leads to identity foreclosure and a fractured psyche. Jungian psychology warns us about the shadow. When you try to repress or deny parts of yourself, your laziness, your greed, your fear, they don't disappear. They go into the basement and lift weights. They come back stronger, usually as self-sabotage. If you build a new me based on the hatred of the old me, your foundation is negative. You are running away from something, not toward something. Fear-based motivation is potent but toxic. It creates cortisol. It creates burnout. It creates a civil war inside your own head. Furthermore, radical identity shifts are traumatic. If you try to go from couch potato to David Goggins overnight, your subconscious will rebel. It will view this new behavior as a threat to homeostasis. It will trigger identity protectiveness. You will self-sabotage to return to the baseline simply because the baseline feels safe and familiar. Your brain prefers a familiar hell to an unfamiliar heaven. We live in a cancel culture and we have internalized it. We cancel ourselves. We look at our cringe phases, our mistakes, our failures, and we want to scrub them from the record. We treat our own lives like a PR crisis to be managed. But this creates a brittle identity. If your new me is a performance, one slip-up shatters the illusion. If you eat one cookie, the healthy me mask falls off and you think, well, I blew it, might as well eat the whole box. This is the what the hell effect. It stems from a rigid binary view of identity. You are either good or bad. There is no nuance. Integration, not amputation. You do not need a new me. You need an evolved me. You must make peace with the lazy, messy, scared part of yourself. You must say, okay, I have a tendency to procrastinate. That is part of my data set. How do I work with that rather than declaring war on it? Stop trying to be a different person. Be the same person just with better strategies. Be the same person just slightly more disciplined. Evolution is slow, boring, and incremental. It is not a cinematic montage. It is a slow drift. Allow yourself to drift in the right direction rather than trying to teleport. Point 7. The metric fixation. The myth is that if you can measure it, you can control it. You set numerical resolutions. I will read 50 books. I will lose 20 pounds. I will make 100K. You believe that the metric is the goal. You confuse the map with the territory. You believe that hitting the number will deliver the feeling you are chasing. This brings us to Goodhart's law. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. When you obsess over the number, you optimize for the number at the expense of the intent. If your goal is read 50 books, you will pick short, easy books. You will skim. You will read to finish, not to learn. You will optimize for the count, not the comprehension. You have hit the metric, but you have missed the point. If your goal is lose 20 pounds, you might starve yourself, dehydrate yourself, or lose muscle mass. You hit the scale weight, but you destroyed your metabolic health. We are obsessed with the quantified self. We track sleep stages, heart rate variability, screen time, steps, calories, macronutrients. We turn our lives into a spreadsheet, but data is not wisdom. Tracking is not living. Gamification has rotted our brains. We need a streak to feel validation. We need the Apple Watch rings to close. We need the Duolingo owl to congratulate us. We need the wrapped statistics. We have outsourced our internal sense of good to external algorithms. If you went for a walk but forgot your Fitbit, did it count? You feel like it didn't. This is absurd. You are surrendering your agency to a sensor. You are reducing the complexity of human experience to a set of key performance indicators, KPIs. You are running your life like a corporation, but a corporation's goal is profit. A human's life goal is what? Meaning, connection, vitality. These things are notoriously hard to measure. You cannot put a metric on peace of mind. Focus on the input, not the output. Focus on the standard, not the score. Instead of read 50 books, set a standard, I am a person who reads before bed. Instead of lose 20 pounds, set a standard, I am a person who does not eat processed sugar. The metric is a lagging indicator. The habit is the leading indicator. Forget the scoreboard, play the game. If you play the game right, the score takes care of itself. And even if it doesn't, you spent your time playing a game you enjoyed, rather than suffering for a number that no one else cares about. So where does this leave us? The confetti has been swept up, the champagne is flat, the gym is already starting to empty out. The fresh start has spoiled, the magic has faded as it always does. You have two choices. Option A, you can continue the cycle. You can wait for the next Monday, the next month, or the next year to give you permission to live. You can keep buying the planners and posting the announcements. You can keep treating your life like a dress rehearsal for a play that never opens. This path is comfortable. It is culturally approved. It is what your friends are doing, and it leads to a slow, quiet, comfortable erosion of your soul. You will wake up at 40, 50, 60, realizing you spent your whole life planning to live, while the actual life slipped through your fingers like sand. Option B, you can wake up. You can realize that January 1st is a fiction. You can realize that there is no new you coming to save you. There is only the scarred, tired, imperfect you that is sitting in the chair right now. And that you is enough. You don't need a resolution. You need a standard. You don't need a fresh start. You need persistence. You don't need to change everything. You need to change one thing today and then do it again tomorrow, even when it's boring, especially when it's boring. The magic isn't in the date, it's in the grind. The calendar is blank, but it always was. See you at the next video. Ciao.